What is the right amount of help for you, whether you're a buyer or a seller, in a real estate negotiation? And how can we best help you in those negotiations? Well, this is Ron Wojciechowski at Wise Home Team Realty. And the first negotiation is really with yourself. It's which home is the right one to buy? Or are you ready to sell the one that you have? Now, once that negotiation is cleared up, the one that plays around in your mind, there's the other negotiations when the offer comes, to its point where it's going to happen. So if you're a buyer, you're going to make an offer. We're going to see if the seller will accept the price and terms that you would like them to agree to, and we'll have a conversation back and forth, and we'll fully support that. Now, if you're a seller, we have to really have some good metrics on there. What is the home going to sell for in this market? Where should we list it? How should we negotiate? Prices, multiple offers, things like that. So there's a little bit of an art and science behind that. But both negotiations begin with an offer. So when the buyer makes an offer to the seller, for them to consider it, that's the first step. The response, accept it, reject it, maybe make a counter offer on price or terms. It's really the beginning of it. And eventually, with a solid negotiation and conversation between buyer and seller, they'll both feel like they got a good deal. They'll both feel like they won. That's what most deals look like. Rarely do people sign on the dotted line to sell or buy a property if they didn't like the terms. So ultimately, can both people win? I think both people could be happy with the terms on the contract because they wouldn't sell it otherwise. They wouldn't buy it otherwise. And when we think the negotiations are done right there, occasionally the second negotiation creeps in. It's the one we're talking about, inspections. Let's suppose for a moment that an inspection occurs and something is found. Well, if it was disclosed up front that, hey, I've got a really old roof or a hole in the ceiling, that's one thing. But let's suppose that the inspection reveals something that might be hidden in a wall or unknown or up on the roof where let's face it, most sellers aren't walking around on the roof. Maybe there's something going on, a couple of missing shingles that just don't know about. These could be things where the buyer could ask for repairs. They could ask for a cash credit, maybe to take care of it after closing. Or maybe they can ask the seller to do it. They said, go pound sand. You're buying it as is. During this second negotiation, this is an opportunity for buyers and sellers to revisit the original terms of the contract. Now, I'm not suggesting to get a property under contract in the hopes that you can renegotiate a better price during the inspection period, because if it's a known defect, it's probably disclosed. Now, if it's unknown or undisclosed, I think that does open the door to conversation. There's a lot of ways that it could play out in this negotiation phase, number one. And number two, the best way to navigate that is have a skillful agent help you travel through this process with a clear mind, specific goals, and an outcome that would ultimately work for everybody involved. That's the genesis of how we create these negotiations and how we do it. Well, we'd love to show you that. Give us a call if you're interested even a little bit about this, or hey, maybe you have a negotiation going on right now in your mind that you may want to buy or sell. Give us a call. This is Ron Wojciechowski for Wise Home Team Realty.